In the headlines, Ethiopia inaugurates African Leadership Excellence Academy. And Horn of Africa finance ministers affirm commitment to economic integration. Hello and many thanks for joining us. You're watching Addis News Hour with the news. I'm Tabitha John. Do stay with us. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed has inaugurated on Saturday the African Leadership Excellence Academy in Sululta town. The academy will serve as a capacity-building hub where trainings will be given to high-level officials of the continent. Haptamwa Shagri tells you more.
Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed inaugurated Saturday at the Africa Leadership Excellence Academy with an outlay of 2.2 billion birr at 14 hectares of land in Sululta town in the state of Oromia. Speaking on the occasion, the Premier said the academy helps to produce qualified and skilled leaders by providing wisdom for all trainees as excellence center in the continent.
This academy ለኢትዮጵያ የመንግስት አመራሮች የቢዝነስ አመራሮች
This academy is expected to be a source of wisdom for government leaders, business persons, and new reimbursement leaders to the nation. The problem of Africans is losing the light of wisdom, knowledge, and backwardness, that we are fighting each other, which is a sign of building rifts among us. This may show that we are living without vision. To combat these and related challenges, we have constructed and inaugurated the best academy in the continent. It is also an exemplary project depicting how Ethiopia is succeeding in availing social infrastructure.
According to the Premier, further activities are needed to bring qualified domestic and foreign leaders in the academy.
Apart constructing this building and infrastructure, we need to undertake additional tasks to make this academy a source of wisdom. The priority cause of our problem is our backwardness. I hope this academy will play an unprecedented role to Ethiopia and African countries. We have to work hard and strengthen our social capital to reconcile the continent, to solve its challenges, as well as to bring stable Africa. This academy also gives short and long-term trainings to Ethiopian and other foreign leaders in the continent.
Chinese ambassador to Ethiopia for his part said the construction of the academy is showing the comprehensive and strategic partnership of the two countries as well as in continental level.
It is another major achievement of China-Ethiopia and China-Africa cooperation, and another vivid manifestation of the comprehensive strategic cooperative partnership between the two countries. It highlights the profound friendship between China and Africa.
The Chinese government is committed to extend support to the academy to help it generate excelling leaders that are capable of sustaining the ongoing development in Ethiopia.
The purpose of this project is to strengthen cooperation between the parties and cultivate more outstanding leaders for Ethiopia's development. We can envisage that with a good mood in this present and inviting yard, batches of officials will master the core concept of national development.
According to the ambassador, China is always committed to work cooperatively with Ethiopia as well as other African countries in various fields.
I would like to take this opportunity to reaffirm China's commitment to strengthening experience sharing with Ethiopia and other friendly countries on party building and governance. Standing here, I would like to give special thanks to our Ethiopian partners, the contractor and the management company who make it possible.
China appreciates the commitment of the Ethiopian government as well as other pertinent steps to finalize the construction of the academy. High government officials, members of the diplomatic community, including diplomats from Chinese embassy and community representatives have attended the inaugural ceremony.
It's now up to Egypt to come on board and agree with us that we are going to share these waters.
So Ethiopia is basically saying, rain falls onto the ground, forms a river, we just want to use it to generate power.
You people have got rain, this is why the British say, you people in the tropics, you have got rainwater, so you don't need the river water. Of course, we have now rejected this.
Some countries rely on this water more than others, or are thinking about it more than others. But that does not give them any more right on the use of this water than others. The colonial agreements cannot be accepted as valid anymore.
ህዳሴ ዛሬም በተለያየ መንገድ የሚደረግ ማንኛውም የቅኝ ግዛት እሳቢዎችን የማናስተናግድ በአፍሪካ ነፃ የሆነች ሀገር ብቻ ሳይሆን በአፍሪካ ነፃ ሆና የምትቀጥል ሀገር መሆኗን የምናረጋግጥበት ፕሮጀክት ነው።
In Ethiopia, a massive engineering project, more than a decade in the making, is taking shape. The Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam is set to transform life in the country, providing reliable power to a population long plagued by blackouts. Jerusalem Betzaha has more from Channel 4 News.
It's unforgiving work here in the hinterlands outside Addis Ababa. Asagedech and her friends create a living for their families, selling firewood collected from the forest. Over 60% of Ethiopian people, like Asagedech, have no access to electricity. But the government hopes to change all that, and this is how they are planning to make the difference. The Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, a $5 billion mega project, will be Africa's largest dam, generating hydropower from the Blue Nile, locally known as the Abai River. The aim is to electrify Ethiopia and propel this country into the 21st century. For many Ethiopians, like these demonstrators in the capital, the project is a source of enormous national pride.
እኛ አንድ ከሆንን እንደ ህዳሴ አይነት አንድ አይደለም ሶስቱን መገንባት የምንችል ስለ ልቦና የተጎናጸፈን ለማንም ማንበርክ
አሁን ደግሞ ኢትዮጵያ በጣም የውሃ ባለሀብትና ባለሀብት ነች አባይን እንገድባለን የራሳችን ነው ማንም
Financial support from global financiers like the World Bank and other Western donors was not possible. But the $5 billion project cost is now being made by the public. Ethiopians from all walks of life come to small tents like this to contribute to the project. They are then given a certificate which they proudly show their people remember that they have done their part. Ethiopia's population of 115 million is Africa's second biggest. But energy shortage has stunted the economy and with GERD the next generation's hope for the future. Aklilu works in this small furniture factory but without reliable electricity supply. It's a constant struggle to fulfill orders.
እንዴት እንደሆነ ግራ ነው የሚገባ በቃ መንግስትም የሚጠብቀን ነገር በሙሉ ከማድረግ ወደ ኋላ አላለም አንድ ቦንድ አይደለም ሁለት ቦንድ አይደለም አራት አምስት ጊዜ አዋተን ግን የፈለገው ነው ነው ያላለ እኔ እውነቴን ነው የምልህ በመብራት ምክንያት ከስራው ልወጣ እችላለሁ ልተወው ይችላል ምክንያቱም ካንተ የሚሻልም አይሻልም መጥተው ይሰዱሃል ቤቱ መብራት ጠፍቶ እዚህ መጥተው ይጮሃል
Minister of Water, Irrigation and Energy stated he is hopeful the new dam will help reverse this trend.
So many young people are migrating legally and illegally in so many directions in search of job, in search of better life. Here we have to build that kind of mechanism and system.
The minister added another benefit of the dam would be environmental.
When you link it to climate change, Ethiopia's hydro can play very useful role. Renewable energy means every year, as long as rainfall and runoff exists, water comes to the dam site, and then that accumulated water can generate electricity.
After a long day of gathering firewood to sell for little money, Asagedech and her friends hope the dam project will prove life-changing.
እኛ ምሰጣው ያው እሱ ኤሌክትሪኩም መምጣቱ ያው በጣም የኛ ችግር ነው አይናችን ማረቤት ገፍተን ስንሰራ ኡምባ ይወጣል ጪስ አለው ሲያፍነን እኛ ሌላ ነገር ይዛል በጣም እንትን ያማል እንደሞ ተሸክመን እስከ ከጫካ መተን አሁን ቤት ደሞ አርፈ ምሳችን በልተን ጫካ ስንሄድ በጣም ይደክመናል
The Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam will undoubtedly shape the future of the next generation.
Ministry of Foreign Affairs said Ethiopia has begun to repatriate large numbers of undocumented Ethiopian migrants from Saudi Arabia. The repatriation will be carried out with up to 6 flights per day, and more than 2,000 Ethiopians are expected to have come back to their homelands on Saturday. Alula Teklamariam tells us more.
Documents show that there are tens of thousands of both documented and undocumented Ethiopians in the Middle East. It has become now mandatory to repatriate those large number of Ethiopian migrants who've been detained for more than a year in Saudi Arabian refugee camps. The Ethiopian delegation last Saturday conferred with Saudi Arabian officials regarding the protection of the rights of Ethiopian citizens in the country and further facilitate the repatriation process. Accordingly, the repatriation will be carried out with up to 6 flights per day, and more than 2,000 compatriots are expected to return back to Ethiopia from Saudi Arabia on Saturday.
We will repatriate over 40,000 Ethiopian migrants within the coming 2 weeks. There is a task force team for facilitating this big operation, and hopefully we will finalize it, bringing back all our citizens to their motherland in 2 weeks' time.
Returnees expressed their happiness for coming back home, recalling those old mayhems they have passed through.
We have had tough times as we used to experience tortures and harsh jail conditions. This is not something we expected before. What I can say right now is, please reach out those Ethiopians who still are in prison. As we speak, a large number of our citizens are in prison. Women are experiencing tough time in Saudi Arabia, so it is time to promptly address the problem.
It is to be recalled that the Ethiopian and Saudi Arabian officials reviewed the achievements and challenges of repatriating undocumented migrants in their discussion to speed up the process. Reports indicate that Saudi Arabia took the same measures in 2013, and the Ethiopian government was forced to repatriate over 150,000 Ethiopians.
Due to electoral irregularities, the National Electoral Board of Ethiopia has suspended the Kucha constituency ballot in the Southern Nations Nationalities and Peoples Regional State of Ethiopia. Briefing journalist, communication advisor of the National Electoral Board, Soliana Shimelis, said contesting political parties have presented to the board complaints regarding the voting in Kucha election constituency. Listen to her.
We have suspended one of the counting, tabulation, and results announcement process in one of the constituencies in Southern Nations and National Saint People region. It's called Kucha constituency. So there has been a lot of complaints starting from polling up to today's result tabulation. But today there has been a very significant problem, complaints, and I think now it gets to almost a security challenge where the zonal administration itself admitted that the result tabulation in announcement process is going to be a problem for the region, and therefore the board decided to suspend that, and until further decision by the board, every material should be quarantined, kept safe by security forces, and the board will decide exactly what's going on there.
According to Soliana, almost half of electoral constituencies have finalized counting votes across the country. She added the rest half of electoral constituencies will finalize activities within the coming 2 days.
From the many constituencies that we have conducted election on, I think 221 of them have already done that. They finished tabulation, and then they publish results on their constituency offices. So we are almost there half of what we are expecting, so we expect them to finish today and probably tomorrow, so that we can do results verification at the center level, which probably needs more time. And like different regions are trying their best, and Oromia, I think 125 of the constituencies are already done, and they published, and they're on their way to submit to the center. And there are also, for example, Gambella, I think they have done most of it. Afar, they have done most of it. Addis Ababa, we're still working on that. Dredwa, they're still working on that. And specifically Amhara, they're still working on much of their constituencies to tabulate the results that they got from polling stations and publish it. Exception to Sidama and Gambella, obviously, as you know, they have 1 day delay, so they're going to have 1 more day to finalize their tabulation at constituency level.
The National Electoral Board of Ethiopia said opposition parties can submit their complaints on the election through evidence-based approach.
There has been a lot of complaints from political parties, but significantly those complaints has not been really organized. It's kind of like this polling station, this happened, or this constituency, this happened. And then the board tried to see the consolidated report from the last couple of days, and then felt that like it's very difficult to do any technical, legal and administrative evaluation of the complaints because they are here and there. So one of the things that we have done is yesterday we have announced that all political parties with legal complaints regarding election day polling, results announcement and counting need to organize their complaints based on the constituencies and then submit it to the board in 2 days. So which means today and tomorrow. We expect to have every political party's complaints organized until Monday, and then on Monday the board is going to decide which one is going to be considered for administrative purpose, for legal purpose, or maybe which complaints are going to be rejected, so that political parties are going to have time to go to court. So the next appeal process from the court from the board is obviously going to court. So the next 2 days we expect every political party that run into in the election and has a significant complaint on a specific constituency, polling, counting, or result announcement, they're expected to submit that to the board. So that will be the final window for political parties.
Legal experts dubbed Ethiopia's elections peaceful and transparent, despite some irregularities, both serious and minor. They also suggested that complaints from contesting political parties should be resolved very soon, using all the legally established mechanisms. According to the legal experts approached by ETV, any other way of resolving the disputes will disrupt the post-election process and pollute the prevailing peace. Goshu Melissa reports.
The sixth national election has gripped Ethiopia for the past 2 weeks. Many agree that Ethiopia has conducted peaceful election despite some irregularities. It is to be recalled that the National Electoral Board itself admitted serious irregularities like intimidation of poll watchers in Amhara and South Nations nationalities peoples. Also, some vote counts have been challenged. Legal experts approached by ETV lauded the peaceful nature of the process.
The election was peaceful. Whether it is fair or otherwise, that will be the decision of the National Election Board. But as a citizen, I can tell you that it was peaceful, so it was successful. There were organs from inside, groups from inside, and interest groups and nations from outside who were working against this election. There were pressures against conducting this election.
We're advocating fair, free election. The end goal is it should be accepted by the public. It should be accepted by the opposition parties even.
The legal reforms taken by the government, they said, helps conduct peaceful elections, citing electoral board. The process, according to the experts, helps resolve disputes much better than used to be the case until 3 years ago.
There have been very series of reforms for the last 3 years. In that case, I think the electoral board have been it's a very good progress, honestly speaking. So they can be cited as an example for other institutions.
The legal sphere reform is particularly the election process, having an independent, impartial, competent electoral board. And I believe we have now established that. It can't be perfect overnight. It will never be perfect. It will progress to perfection. Now we have this election. Now you can see this electoral process from the very beginning of the constitution of the board itself, how it selected its workers, employees who are conducting the election in each polling station, and those kinds of things. It is not like we had in the previous elections that cadres are appointed in some corner, but this one, it's conducted by professionals.
They also suggested that complaints from opposition political parties should be resolved through legal procedure, otherwise it disrupts post-election process.
There are such complaint resolution mechanisms put in place in the law, both at election constituencies, in the National Election Board, and in the court. So there are procedures to be followed, and parties can handle that in fairly expeditious manner. As I said already, the courts have allocated dedicated benches for this particular issue because election disputes are time sensitive. They have to be resolved immediately because the National Election Board has to declare results to the public first in 5 days, if it's not possible in 10 days, if there are disputes in 20 days. And if there are extended disputes, I think the court may take some time.
It might also disrupt the post-election period. So when we talk about election, we are talking about pre-election, election day, and post-election. So those three periods, they have their own significance, and they should be managed very seriously.
The legal experts urged contesting political parties to adhere their pre-election patience until final results are announced by mandated electoral board.
تعديلنا تقاعد وتحلمنا